Graduation day. The prom queen handed me $4 million and asked me to be her contract husband for 3 years. But 3 years was enough time to make me forget our agreement. Today, in a state between sleep and wakefulness, I crawled into her bed. However, she kicked me away. "Don't touch me!" Just like that, under the torment of body and soul. I spent 2,000 days and nights. Today, I really couldn't hold it back anymore. Shia Nuan, let's get a divorce. The originally harmonious breakfast atmosphere dropped to freezing point instantly. Because of my single sentence. Have you thought it through? If you propose a divorce, you have to compensate me with $4 million. If you can't give me $4 million, I will send you back to prison. Shia Nuan spoke with a threatening tone. She didn't want a divorce yet. 3 years had already made her used to having a guy named Shu Yi around. I nodded with a smile. Let's divorce. It wouldn't be good to wait until he comes back to do it. These past 3 years, thank you for taking care of me. I'll find a way to pay back the $4 million I owe you within a year. Do you have time today? Let's handle the divorce procedures this afternoon. Her proud character meant Shia Nuan wouldn't give me another chance, and we didn't even need the afternoon. Within 10 minutes of the Civil Affairs Bureau opening, we walked out. Didn't even look at me as she drove away. Standing outside the door, my eyes were full of bitterness. Before she had even driven 200 meters, a phone call made Shia Nuan pull over to the curb. As soon as the call connected, a familiar yet strange voice came from the other side. Shia Nuan, why was it him who picked up the phone last night? I was originally very happy and wanted to tell you I'm returning to the country immediately. But when I finished speaking, it was actually him telling me he knew. Don't tell me you two already. Du Ziteng, please put away the filth in your mind. My phone was left on the first floor last night. Is there anything else? I'm busy. Hearing other women's voices in the background of the call, Shia Nuan quickly hung up. She suddenly felt her head must have been squeezed by a door previously. How could she like such a dissolute man between the divorce and being disgusted by Du Ziteng? Shia Nuan really couldn't find the spirit to go to work. Vice President Wen, who had never been absent without reason, miraculously skipped work, driving back to the Wen family home. Shia Nuan pushed the door directly into the bedroom. Chen Nuanshu, who hadn't gotten out of bed yet, tilted her head to look at her precious daughter, then found herself hugged tightly. Mom, I divorced Shu Yi. At 11 a.m. at the Wen house, Shia Nuan was forced to sit on the sofa, facing an interrogation from her parents. Old Wen was a man who doted on his child, but today, he didn't protect his daughter, allowing his precious girl to be lectured. Shia Nuan, you really don't know what's good for you. I won't even mention how you always bullied Shu Yi, but how could you divorce him? Over these years, you've had smooth sailing at work. Who do you think was helping you behind the scenes? Which of those tasks wasn't done by Shu Yi? In the middle of the night for you, he took care of your every need at home. Shu Yi's talents have been wasted. He made breakfast and dinner for you every day, drew your bathwater, and even washed your underwear. I don't know who told me last time that having a man at home is truly great. Now you tell me you're divorced? HMPH, Shu Yi must have had lifetimes of bad luck to run into a creature like you. Being scolded made Shia Nuan lose face. She puffed out her chest to argue back. Am I your daughter or is Shu Yi? I'm telling you, Shu Yi was the one who proposed the divorce. Your daughter was dumped. Hearing this, old Wen nearby lost it. He shouted and pulled out his phone, wanting to question that kid. Where was his daughter when Shu not good enough for that brat? Unfortunately, before the call was placed, Chen Nuankyu shouted angrily, You still have the nerve to call and ask Shu Yi? Aren't you afraid Shu Yi will say that Shia Nuan has another man in her heart? Isn't she just waiting for that little brat from the Du family to come back? Do you think I don't know? Or Shu Yi doesn't know? Sure, Nuan, I'm telling you, if you dare to be with that Du family brat, I will take back all the shares in your hands. Then we'll see if the Du family brat kicks you away. HMPH. The shares belong to my dad. HMPH. You ask your dad if he dares to give them to you? Old Wen. Do you want to practice some military boxing? Chen Nuanshu glared at Wenshu. This time, he stood by his wife's side, then frowned and spoke softly to Shia Nuan. My meaning is the same as your mother's. I won't agree to you being with Du Ziteng. Shia Nuan looked up, her eyes looking at her parents with anger. She gritted her teeth and muttered, Now it's Shu Yi who doesn't want your daughter anymore. It's not that. I don't want Shu Yi. Last night, Du Ziteng called me saying he's coming back and will marry me upon return. Shu Yi picked up the phone. This morning, he proposed divorce. What's the use of blaming me? If Shu Yi is so good, go find him. Facing Shia Nuan's resistance, Chen Nuanqiu clearly didn't take it seriously. She looked at her daughter with a mocking gaze. You think I, as your mother, can't see through your little tricks? Du Ziteng is coming back, right? Starting tomorrow, I will sell your house at half price. Since you're divorced, come home to live. If you dare to come back after 9 p.m., I'll break your legs. You can date whoever you want in the future, just not Du Ziteng. I'm leaving my words here today. You aren't going anywhere. I'm going to find Shu Yi now and ask him exactly why he wanted a divorce. Shia Nuan, you'd better hope Shu Yi doesn't tell me the truth. After speaking, Chen Nuanqiu stood up and shot a threatening look at old Wen. If he dared to let Shia Nuan out the door, he shouldn't expect to have any good days. Coming from a military background, Chen Nuanqiu never beat around the bush. She wouldn't use soft words to persuade Shia Nuan because old Wen played that role. If she wasn't strong, no one would be able to control this girl. Chen Nuanqiu went back to the room, took out a property deed, and glared at Shia Nuan. If you don't want your second uncle to send troops to catch you, stay home honestly. I'm gonna sell the house today and then find Shu Yi. Go ahead. I must have been picked up from a dumpster. Go find your son, Shu Yi. Chen Nuanqiu ignored Shia Nuan and walked out the front door. At this moment, I, not knowing where to go, was wandering on the street. Suddenly, my old phone rang. Seeing the 3 words mother-in-law on the screen, sweat instantly poured from my forehead. I tremblingly answered, Hello? You little brat, has this old lady been giving you too many smiles? Try saying hello one more time. I'll call the military right now and blow you away, you little bastard. Mom, I was wrong. That's more like it. It's noon and you haven't eaten, right? I'm waiting for you at the People's Kitchen. I want to ask about your divorce with Shia Nuan. I'm only giving you 10 minutes. If you dare not to come. I know. If I dare not to come, you'll send troops to catch me. 10 minutes! I'll get there even if it kills me. The summer morning was very hot. Unable to catch a taxi, I ran all the way. When I walked into the private room, my mother-in-law was just taking out her phone, seemingly about to dial. Chen Nuanqiu looked at the breathless me and nodded slightly. Not bad. Even after the divorce, you still treat me, your mother-in-law, as someone important. Tell me, why did you divorce Shia Nuan? Think before you answer, or I really might beat you to death. Seeing this, I could only lie and claim, I have a problem down there, I'm infertile. Let's go to the hospital. I'll call Shia Nuan right now and tell her to come stay with you. I was completely helpless against my mother-in-law. I definitely couldn't go to the hospital. If she found out I lied, I'd really be dead. I sighed, sat on the chair, and said in a low voice, my marriage with Shia Nuan was just a deal. Back then I was in trouble. My mom needed 400,000 for surgery fees. I had no choice but to beg Shia Nuan to save me. Our marriage happened because she held something over me. I helped her deal with you 2 elders. Now the contract time is up, and I can't delay Shia Nuan anymore. It was impossible to play tricks in front of my mother-in-law. That would only lead to a worse death. I had to confess honestly. However, during the confession, I took all the responsibility onto myself, but Chen Nuanqiu's attention didn't seem to be on the contract marriage. Instead, she frowned and questioned. Am I very old? No, you aren't old at all. You missed a word. Mom, you aren't old at all. Everyone outside says you and Shia Nuan are sisters. Chen Nuanqiu was satisfied. Then she spoke, Contract marriage. I can consider these 3 years as you being in love. Shia Nuan indeed has many flaws. She's clearly messy, yet claims to have a germophobia. She has 0 life skills. Besides her education and looks, she has no other strengths. Are you saying you don't like Shia Nuan at all? Over these years, even if it were a dog by your side, there should be feelings, right? I'm not saying you're a dog. I'm talking about Shia Nuan, my fierce mother-in-law. The sweat on my forehead never stopped. I wiped it away and said with a smile, Mom, you know my background. If it weren't because she had something on me, a girl like Shia Nuan would never talk to me in this lifetime. Doesn't this kind of thing require matching social status? Even if I like Shia Nuan, it's useless. The one she likes is someone else. You mean that Du family brat? that Du Ziteng is just eyeing the shares of the Changxiang group in Shia Nuan's hands. Only a fool like Shia Nuan would think her, Ziteng brother, actually likes her. You say you want a divorce, but didn't even tell mom? What now? When Du Ziteng comes back, that fool Shia Nuan is gonna dive into the fire. Are we supposed to give away old Win's lifelong hard work to the Du family? I just regret why I didn't give birth to someone with a handle. I really didn't dare to respond to these words. Nodding wasn't right, and neither was shaking my head. Fortunately, Chen Nuanqiu didn't make it too hard for me. She took out 100,000 yuan from her bag and threw it to me. A divorce is a divorce? I, Chen Nuanqiu, am not that kind of old-fashioned person. For these 3 years you called me mom. Now you aren't my son-in-law, you're half a son to me. Shia Nuan is petty. If you had 10,000 yuan in your hand, I'd consider my life lived in vain. Take these for now. Don't think about leaving this city. If anything happens to me and Old Win later, you'll still need to come help. If you dare to refuse, I'll have the military blow you away. No, I won't refuse. One's hand is shortened when taking from others, especially when it's not a small amount. But I really didn't dare not to take it. I had understood my mother-in-law's ferocity for more than a day or two. While eating, Chen Nuanqiu suddenly spoke. Can Shia Nuan command respect at Changxiang now? I, eating heartily, nodded. Chen Nuanqiu liked me, our son-in-law, more and more as she looked at me. Handsome, a good match for Shia Nuan, and very talented. She looked at me with a smile and said, Do you want to go back to Changxiang Group? I can have Old Wen give you a position as the planning department manager. I smiled bitterly and shook my head. Mom, stop joking. If I go back to Changxiang, Shia Nuan will think I'm pursuing her relentlessly. Now that we're divorced, let's keep some distance. Besides, the employees at Changxiang don't know about my relationship with Shia Nuan, but the high-level execs have seen me. Also, that person is coming back, no matter what. I'm Shia Nuan's ex-husband. Seeing my ex-wife walking with another man, I'll still feel uncomfortable in my heart. So please spare this lowly dog's life, okay? Chen Nuanqiu's expression was clearly a bit disappointed. She sighed softly. All that pride in your bones is used on us, and you didn't give a bit of it to that little dummy Shia Nuan. She still foolishly thinks all your abilities were taught by her. Since you insist, I won't force you. But don't be in a hurry to get married just because you divorced Shia Nuan. If you meet a girl you like, tell mom. If soft tactics don't work, we'll use money to smash them into submission. I won't be dating in the short term. I'll solve the troubles first. Then buy a house in this city before considering a relationship. Mom, you should go play mahjong now. This is already the 4th call from Aunt Zhao. As I spoke, Chen Nuanqiu's phone rang. She answered and started scolding. Hurry! Are you rushing me to my grave? I'm having a meal with my son-in-law and you're rushing me like this? Wait for me, I'm gonna win your money. Is Xiao Yi next to you? Bring him along. Let big sister cherish him properly. Haha, Xiao Yi made such good dishes. Tonight the brother-in-law isn't home. Oh, bah, shameless. Don't seduce my son-in-law. There are plenty of male dogs outside. Shu Yi, your Aunt Zhao is asking if you're going? No, Aunt Zhao. I have things to do this afternoon. I have to go buy groceries for Shia Nuan. At this point, I suddenly froze. It turns out, habits really do form. The lady sister on the phone gritted her teeth and said, HMPH, Chen Nuanqiu, come here and prepare to die. The fierce mother-in-law left in a very low-profile A6. Returning to the street once more, my face was bitter, but then I clenched my fists. A new life is beginning. Time to buy cigarettes. My mindset was relatively optimistic. After buying a pack of cigarettes, I went to a real estate agency to find a house. In the end, I chose a high-priced penthouse duplex. A debt of 4 million isn't something that can be saved by just being frugal. To repay the debt, relying solely on saving isn't enough. On the other side, Shia Nuan was already on the verge of a breakdown. The house had been sold. Her mother-in-law had casually told Shia Nuan that she lost the house to Aunt Zhao while playing mahjong. If you have any objections, go find the one named Zhao. Regarding this Aunt Zhao, who had forced Shia Nuan to call her sister, since childhood, Shia Nuan always maintained a philosophy of keeping her at a distance. This elder, who didn't act her age, would chase her to ask, how is Shu Yi's stamina? This made the inexperienced Shia Nuan not know how to answer. In this regard, Shia Nuan was as pure as a white sheet of paper. At this time, Shia Nuan sat by the bed in a daze. Did she really like Du Ziteng? Or did she just treat him as a spiritual anchor? He had been abroad for many years. In fact, time had already washed everything away. When they were first married, a long-distance call would last late into the night. As time passed, the late night shortened to an hour. Finally, it would be hung up because I called out, "Time to eat." I would also wake up early on the days she felt the most uncomfortable each month. To cook a bowl of fish head tofu soup or maybe pork rib soup, I would prepare ginger and goji water in a thermos for her to take to the company. In an instant, Shia Nuan was lost. The figure of Du Ziteng in her mind became increasingly blurred, while my appearance became clearer and clearer. Shia Nuan couldn't bear this. She was the one dumped by me. She wouldn't allow herself to still think of this man under such circumstances. Feeling like she was about to break, Shia Nuan grabbed her keys and phone and rushed out of the house. In a bar, Shia Nuan looked at this strange environment. She plucked up the courage and walked into this place she had never been and deeply resisted. But she needed to vent. Shia Nuan got angrier as she drank. How could she ungratefully think of this guy Shu Yi? Besides cooking a bit better, cleaning the room more efficiently, washing clothes cleaner, being a bit smarter, and being a bit more handsome, what other strengths did he have? Most importantly, this guy actually dared to propose a divorce and dumped me when Nuan. The already drunk Shia Nuan didn't notice that Du Ziteng was nowhere to be found in her mind. Alcohol doesn't intoxicate people. People intoxicate themselves. "Hello, beautiful. Can you give me a chance to buy you a drink?" Shia Nuan couldn't remember how many people had come over to hit on her. She just wanted to drink quietly by herself. She turned to look at this man, aged about 41 and wearing brand names, and frowned. "My annual salary is 6 figures. I have a watch worth over $1 million. I have relatives at the deputy bureau level at home. Should I have a drink with you?" The middle-aged man smiled, turned, and left. From her tone, he could feel that this woman wasn't asking him, but telling him that everything he mentioned she already had. When Shia Nuan was about to get up and leave, another young man came over to hit on her. "Give me some face. My friends over there are all watching. Come over and have a drink. Being alone is so lonely." "Hee hee, sister. These legs are so pretty. You wouldn't mind if your brother touched them, right?" "Get lost!" Shia Nuan splashed her drink onto the social youth's face. The middle-aged man, who was about to leave from a distance, turned back and sat not far away. He seemed to be waiting for a hero saves the beauty opportunity. The young man, having completely lost face, stopped pretending and gritted his teeth, cursing, "Bitch!" and raising his hand to use force. But his hand didn't fall, his wrist was caught. A fat guy appeared beside the youth. "Shen Jing, if you use force here, do you want to be carried out? Not everyone is someone you can touch, you know?" In the distance, Shen Jing's friends also noticed the abnormality and stood up to come over. But the fatty didn't even look. He grabbed Shen Jing's arm and threw it aside, then smiled gently and warmly at Shia Nuan. "Sister-in-law, why did you come here by yourself?" At this moment, the drunk Shia Nuan looked at the fatty with confused eyes, tilted her head, and asked curiously, "Shu Yi's brother? Sworn brother? My surname is Sun. Just call me Fu Bao. This bar is opened by my uncle, sister, and others. I'm often here. Sister-in-law, you drove here. It's not safe so late. It wouldn't be good if these bastards played dirty. I called Brother Yi just now. He should be arriving soon." Shu Yi was coming? Shia Nuan didn't know why she was flustered. She tremblingly tried to leave the bar. Why was it that the more she didn't want to see this guy, the more she couldn't break ties with him? Shia Nuan wanted to leave, and Shen Jing's people certainly wouldn't agree, shouting that they needed an explanation. Sun Fu Bao frowned, grabbed a chair, pointed at the troublemakers and cursed, "Don't none of you push your luck? Do you really think I don't dare to move you? Wazi, go upstairs and tell them to stop playing. Someone is making trouble here. My sister-in-law's uncle is from the Provincial Public Security Department. Don't even think about making trouble." Everyone knew they had hit a snag and felt a bit scared, so they left dejectedly. The middle-aged man in the distance, seeing no opportunity to save the beauty, was somewhat disappointed, but he wasn't in a hurry to leave. He wanted to see who this Lily's man was. Just as Shia Nuan was stumbling and about to walk out of the bar, she bumped right into someone walking in. "A Princess Carrie." I took Shia Nuan into my arms. Sun Fu Bao turned and left the bar with a grin. The onlookers also understood. Her man had arrived. You drank and still drove? If Fu Bao hadn't spotted you, would you have just driven back? And coming to this kind of place? If Fu Bao wasn't here today, have you thought about the consequences? What's the use of having a face? Shia Nuan, held in my arms, and a Princess Carrie covered her face with her hands, not wanting me to see her appearance. I was too lazy to lecture her more, and turned to leave. However, just as we stepped out the bar door, the breeze hit Shia Nuan and she threw up all over me. At this moment I was about to collapse. I gritted my teeth and shouted, I really should take you to Mom right now and let her know that we just got divorced and you're already here getting drunk. Give me the car keys. Shia Nuan looked at me fuzzily and struggled, shouting, she's my mom, not your mom. Then I'll send you back to your mom's house. I don't have the house keys. Shia Nuan, were you not planning to go home? I was truly getting angry. Shia Nuan hid in my arms like a child who had made a mistake. Not long after, I heard sobbing. Shu Yi, I don't have a home anymore. My mom sold my house. Having no choice, I could only take her back to the house I had just rented. Having slept on the sofa all night, I felt pain all over when I woke up, and felt even worse that my untouched bedding had been occupied. I was woken up by the phone. Before dawn, Shia Nuan's phone rang incessantly. Fuzzily picking it up to answer, the other side immediately came Chen Nuanqiu's lion's roar, plus a friendly greeting. When you little girl come back, I'll definitely skin you alive. I just said no, staying out late, and you dared to do it on the first day. After Chen Nuanqiu's roar ended, I said softly, Mom, it's Shu Yi. Shia Nuan is with me. The phone was instantly hung up. I looked at the phone in my hand in confusion. At that moment, a text message came through. Old Wen and I are going traveling. Let Shia Nuan stay with you. I feel at ease too. If she dares to call me, I'll treat her to military boxing. I looked at the phone in confusion. My mother-in-law isn't worried about Shia Nuan at all? Well, it seems there's nothing to worry about. We lived together for 3 years. While I was confused, Shia Nuan appeared silently behind me. Checking my phone? When we weren't divorced, I didn't see you check my phone. When I was calling Dizzy Teng, you didn't ask either. Why are you checking my phone after the divorce? Do you want me to help you? I turned to look at Shia Nuan, who hadn't even washed her face. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Shia Nuan, if you dare to drink again, I will absolutely tell Mom. I'm hungry. Shia Nuan purposefully avoided the topic of drinking. She took her phone and opened the blacklist in front of me. There was Dizzy Teng's number. She threw the phone on the sofa and skipped to the bathroom to wash up. Looking at Shia Nuan's back, my feeling was very strange. Divorced for less than a day and cohabiting again? Hearing the singing sounds from the bathroom, I stood up and walked to the kitchen. While making breakfast, I relayed my mother-in-law's words. Mom and Old Wen went traveling. They said they took the house keys. Mom told you to stay with me. I don't mind. It's not like we haven't lived together before. Shu Yi, hurry up. I have to go to work today. Hearing these shameless words, I almost took the pot to the bathroom to fight for my life with Shia Nuan. What kind of situation is this? The marriage is over, the contract is broken, I have a 4 million debt on my back, and yet we're living together again? My inner self told me to resist. I took a deep breath. Hurry up and wash up. I also need to wash up and go out. I have an interview for a new job today. As I spoke, Shia Nuan poked half a head out from the bathroom. Shu Yi, did you wash my clothes for me when you came back last night? Hehehe. Why don't you stop working and just be my nanny? No! Watching my ex-wife and her old flame being all lovey-dovey, even if our marriage was a contract, I still need some dignity as a man, right? Old flame? You mean Dizzy Teng? Shu Yi, you're jealous, aren't you? Shu Yi, do you like me? I didn't speak. Shia Nuan continued to press. Helplessly, I brought the breakfast out of the kitchen. Shu Yi, as long as you say you're jealous, I won't choose Dizzy Teng. I am jealous, but now you need to eat breakfast, understand? Also, one very unfortunate thing for me is that I have to start taking care of your life again. Quote, that's your honor. Shu Yi, you don't know. Last night at the bar, so many people hit on me for a meal. Neither of us noticed one thing. The way we interacted after the divorce had changed. I was no longer subservient to Shia Nuan, and Shia Nuan no longer treated me like a nanny. She was afraid of me questioning her about the bar incident, And at the same time, her mood was great upon hearing me say I was jealous. Her gloom was swept away, and she didn't resist living here. My inner self, however, was wailing. My fate is worse than anyone's. But the 4 million still has to be paid back. During breakfast, I received a reply from the Glory Group telling me they have time for an interview today. Afterward, I swayed all the way to the Glory Group headquarters. Just as I was about to stride forward to meet the new challenge, a big red raptor sped past my nose. My confidence vanished instantly from fear. When I regained my senses, the raptor had stopped in the distance. A woman got out. Black bodycon skirt, 7 or 8 centimeter high heels. The woman's figure was very hot, and her dress was bold. But in my eyes, this woman was the culprit who almost killed me. Before I could go up to argue, the hot-bodied woman ran all the way and disappeared through the doors of the Glory Group. I pinched my chin and pondered silently. This woman doesn't look like a good person. In the interview office of the Human Resources Department of Glory Group, I sat on a chair facing 3 interviewers. 2 men and 1 woman. This feeling reminded me of being interrogated at a police station. The female interviewer in the middle spoke first. Introduce yourself. My surname is Zhao, and I'm the manager of the HR department. I will ask you questions to understand you better. These 2 will make the decision based on your answers and experience, and whether we can reach a partnership. In Glory Group, all employees are in a partnership with the company. There is no employment. Also, Glory Group is slightly more humanized than other groups. Now, I'll introduce the company's system, and you can consider whether to continue the interview. Manager Zhao's expression was very gentle, and her words didn't have a condescending tone. This made me very comfortable. After learning about the company's system, I expressed that I could accept it. Manager Zhao squinted and smiled. Compared to Changshan Group, we at Glory treat our employees more humanely. Coming to work isn't like signing a deed of sale. Now I'm going to ask you questions. Just as you need to be satisfied with us, we need to be satisfied with you. First, introduce yourself. I recalled a smile and said softly, Shu Yi, Han ethnicity. 25 years old, divorced. I have 3 years of experience in the planning department of Changshan Group. I've planned some small projects and participated in the planning of Glory Group. My education is only high school. There was an accident at home in my first year, so I dropped out. Can I ask the reason for your divorce? There was a huge gap in family background with my ex-wife. I didn't want to hold her back. If I want you to come up with a plan to deal with the uniform world, now, where would you start? I think there's no need to target uniform world. It's just a brand taking the low-end route. The main customers are mostly middle-aged and elderly. Uniform World is just a way to save Changshan Department Store, a way to choose transformation. Glory Department Store mainly relies on gold stores and luxury counters to attract money. It's unnecessary to imitate a Uniform World, and the result wouldn't look good. One last question. Why did you leave Changshan Group? Does far from home count as a reason? Okay. You'll get an answer by tomorrow night at the latest. I look forward to working with Mr. Shu. Walking out of the room, I was still in a daze. Just as one foot stepped out the door, I suddenly turned back and asked a question. That raptor downstairs, is it a company vehicle? As soon as this question was asked, the faces of the 3 interviewers became somewhat embarrassed. Manager Zhao stood up and said awkwardly, Mr. Shu, you aren't injured, are you? That car is indeed the company's. It's just... I see. When I meet the owner of the car, I'll give them 2 slaps. Don't blame me for being rough. HMPH. She was wearing 8 centimeter high heels and almost killed me. I'm leaving. I left, leaving the 3 interviewers looking at each other, not knowing if the last sentence should be recorded. The auntie isn't driving in high heels for the first time, and everyone in the company knows never cross the plaza around 9 a.m. Definitely don't leave a number. Definitely go. Walk on the sidewalk. Manager Zhao sighed. I think he's good. Let's keep him to try. Anyway, there's a 1-month probation period. The contract will say he can be dismissed without reason within a month. As for him almost being hit, let's treat it as a greeting gift from our auntie. After all, we've all experienced it. It's become a tradition at Glory Group. Waiting for the elevator, my mind was full of lingering fear. I wondered if this was retribution for the divorce. Divorced first, then scolded by Chen Nuanchu, then Shia Nuan came back, almost killed by a car this morning, and the interview wasn't ideal. The elevator opened. Just as I stepped out with my head full of strange thoughts, I felt a burst of softness on my chest. Before I could see what was in front of me, I took a heavy punch to my belly. Then sharp scolding rang in my ears. "Don't you have eyes when you walk? Taking advantage of this lady? Do you want to die?" Before the words even finished, someone grabbed my hair and slapped me. Having my hair grabbed again, I was furious. I reached out and grabbed the woman's hair. The woman let out a scream, and her high heel stepped hard on my shoe. Then came my wailing. This time I saw clearly the person in front of me. It was that woman who almost killed me just now. "Tell me which department you're in. This lady is going to fire you right now. Let go of me." As she spoke, the woman's hand gripped tighter. Not considering myself a gentleman, I didn't hold back either. I gritted my teeth and shouted, "I'm not from your company. You almost hit me downstairs. I was just looking for a place to find you." The chaos attracted onlookers. The 3 people responsible for the interview also rushed over, because these 2 voices were too familiar. When Manager Zhao from HR saw the scene, she was instantly stunned. "Quick, let go! President Liu! You let go too. Let go. The employees are watching. Shu Yi, you let go first. President Liu is a girl." President Liu, Manager Zhao let go of her hand, but unexpectedly. This woman didn't let go. She actually tilted her head and tried to bite my neck. Seeing this, Manager Zhao hurriedly persuaded and blocked, finally getting President Liu to let go of her hand. At this moment, we both looked at each other furiously and disheveled. Liu Ruyan bent down as if to throw something at me. Manager Zhao quickly hugged President Liu to persuade her and signaled for me to leave first. She said she would call later to apologize on President Liu's behalf. I snorted and walked into the elevator. Bad luck. Liu Ruyan tidied her hair and said softly, "Manager Zhao, do you know this person?" Manager Zhao helped tidy her skirt and replied softly, "President Liu, he came for an interview today. He was almost hit by you downstairs just now." I see. Seeing a handsome guy makes me annoyed. I can only look but can't eat. If I don't hit him to death, what else am I keeping him for? Tell the interviewer to have him come to work tomorrow, grabbing my hair and taking advantage of me. Let's see if I don't play him to death. Saying that, Liu Ruyan left. When she left, she lifted her skirt and pulled her safety pants inside. Everyone was angry but didn't dare speak. The company was good in every way, except for this general manager who made people's hair stand on end. I left the company and received a text message saying I had been accepted. It told me I could start work on Monday, the day after tomorrow. All procedures could be picked up at the front desk. But I always had a feeling like a sheep entering a tiger's den. I couldn't refuse. Glory Group was the first step in my plan and the most important one. Only here could I find the opportunity to display my talent. The 3 years of living with Shia Nuan broke all my beautiful fantasies about women. Why would a woman living alone have such a messy room? Thinking of Shia Nuan, I gave my mother-in-law a call to ask when the old couple would return. The call went through. "Shu Yi, your mom is playing mahjong. We're in Sanya." Hearing the sound of the mahjong machine on the phone, I felt my blood pressure rising. What a crappy reason. The old couple just didn't want Shia Nuan to go back and disturb their 2-person world. But I really didn't dare to send Shia Nuan back. I had to save face for old Wen and my mother-in-law, and also for Shia Nuan. After all, I was the one who proposed the divorce. Thinking of Shia Nuan, I felt my life becoming even darker. Who could have imagined that the vice president, who was rumored to have a germophobia at Changxiang, was no different from a pig at home? This young lady made me understand what never touching spring water with her hands meant. It's all tears. In a luxurious villa, Chen Nuanshu had already gotten up from the mahjong table. The purpose of leaving was to deal with old Wen, who had let something slip. Old Wen, in casual wear, frowned and looked at his wife, who had oppressed him for many years with a grieving face. He sighed. "Wife, do you think what we're doing is really okay? Will there be trouble?" Chen Nuanshu peeled an orange and handed it to old Wen, frowning. "There's a lot going on between those 2 kids. I've pretty much figured out the situation. Also, that little white-eyed wolf called us saying she wanted to come home. She's long been used to having Shu Yi serve her. Don't you worry. We've watched Shu Yi for 3 years. What kind of character he has, don't you know? I'll tell you secretly. Shu Yi is a smoker, but for that little white-eyed wolf, he didn't smoke a single cigarette for 3 years. What trouble could she have?" Old Wen put down the orange and tilted his head to look at Chen Nuankyu. He frowned. Quote, Shu Yi smoking is right, but then me smoking is a death sentence? Chen Nuankyu, you're going too far. Whether I'm going too far or not, can we still divorce? HMPH. I'm happy today. I'll allow you 2 cigarettes. Old Wen, as if receiving an imperial decree, stood up and ran all the way to the balcony to smoke with his old friends. In fact, Chen Nuankyu had called Shia Nuan. As long as she admitted her mistake, she could get the house keys and go home. As a result, that little white-eyed wolf didn't say a word and hung up. This clearly meant she had a backer and support. Then why worry? Chen Nuankyu returned to the mahjong table. I wandered through the supermarket with a cart, thinking about what to make for dinner. In the end, I bought some pig intestines, some beans, and mushrooms, and returned home. At this time, Shia Nuan was already back. She had specially bought herself a set of yellow cartoon bear pajamas and was sitting on the sofa holding potato chips and watching TV. Seeing me standing at the stairs, she put down the chips and shouted, Shu Yi, I'm hungry. I took a deep breath and said softly, Are you planning to stay long-term? Shia Nuan nodded vigorously. I can pay for food and rent. Shu Yi, I was abandoned. I called my mom and she didn't pick up and even sent me a text scolding me. Let me see the text. Deleted it. Are you trying to take the opportunity to check my phone? Here. I'm going to the bathroom. Shia Nuan punched the air and cheered, Du Ziteng. He was truly in the blacklist. No reason. Shia Nuan just didn't want that guy to make her feel blocked. Likes foreign girls? This sister isn't serving you anymore. While I was washing vegetables, Shia Nuan snuck into the kitchen. With her hands behind her back, she looked curiously at the ingredients in the sink and said in a small voice, They're all things I like to eat. Aren't you afraid I wouldn't come back today? I didn't even turn my head as I washed the vegetables seriously. I replied softly, Don't you dislike the smell in the kitchen? Why stay? I'm not a picky eater. I'd eat the same even if you didn't come back. Aiy Shu Yi, you've changed. Indeed, men are fickle. Only a few days after the divorce, and you're so cold to me. Don't forget, this sister is still your creditor. Pay back. If you aren't picky, why didn't you buy crab? Crabs were always bought by Shia Nuan, ready-made to eat. In the years after we married, we only had one argument, and the reason was that Shia Nuan bought crabs and told me to cook them. I couldn't do it and kept them in a fish tank. Then, the next day, I saw Shia Nuan steaming the lively crabs one by one in a boiling pot. Then my face was gloomy the whole evening. I didn't make dinner, nor did I wash the dishes or clean the kitchen. Shia Nuan knew she had said something wrong. I didn't take it to heart, turned and walked out of the kitchen. Just as Shia Nuan thought I was going to strike again, I came back with a box of yogurt in my hand. Go sit on the sofa and drink. Don't bother me here. Since the divorce, I wouldn't be subservient to Shia Nuan. I had no intention of pleasing women in my bones. Everyone is equal. Even though you are the creditor now, Shia Nuan didn't leave. She didn't know that while she said I changed, she had changed too. It might be that the relationship between the two had changed. No longer husband and wife. More chili in the intestines makes it taste better. Did you forget how you almost died in bed from pain at 2 a.m.? You spent half the night at the hospital. It was in the winter of the 2nd year after marriage. Shia Nuan shouted that she wanted to eat boiled fish, the spiciest kind. Then in the middle of the night, Shia Nuan was rushed to the hospital. The doctor's diagnosis was intestinal spasms. Spasms are useless. IV was useless. Finally, I had no choice but to keep making Shia Nuan drink water. I stayed by the bed for a whole night while Shia Nuan cried out for the entire night. Because she disturbed other people's rest, I almost got into a fight with people at the hospital. Shia Nuan also remembered this incident. Previously, she felt it was my duty. Now thinking about it, it should be a little happiness, right? After all, it was just a contract marriage. Then put less, cook it longer. Is there soup? Egg soup? Young lady, if you're free, could you help the servant bring the bowls and chopsticks over? Okay, eunuch Shu. When Shia Nuan left the kitchen, I unintentionally showed a smile. Dinner was 3 dishes and 1 soup. If Shia Nuan weren't here, I probably wouldn't even cook. At the table, neither Shia Nuan nor I spoke. We ate quietly, as if returning to those 3 years of life. After the meal, I cleared the dishes, and Shia Nuan took the initiative to help wash them. When I returned to the sofa and took out my computer to study, Shia Nuan came over, having changed into casual clothes. Quote, "Eunuch Shu, do you want to go down for a walk? This princess will give you a chance to be a flower protector." "No. Are you going or not?" "I want to look at some things." Shia Nuan was furious and took a deep breath. Then she looked at me with a flower-like smile and called out in a cloying voice, "Brother Shu, after eating, I want to go downstairs for a walk. Shut up." Quote, "HMPH, straight man cancer." I couldn't withstand Shia Nuan's physical and magical piercing attack. I raised my hands in surrender. "Let's go down." Shia Nuan without makeup was very beautiful, coupled with her towering height and long legs. Everywhere she went was scenery. Beside her, I was handsome, a pair of talented man and beautiful woman. We instantly became the focus of the community, attracting many gazes. Reaching the basketball court, Shia Nuan shouted that she couldn't walk anymore and wanted to go to the supermarket to buy water. What? I looked at the supermarket and then at my own house, then shook my head. "Let's go home to drink," Shia Nuan muttered. "Miser," then jogged to the supermarket, hardly looking like she couldn't walk. Staying where I was, I looked at the basketball court, thinking about playing a bit for some exercise. Just then, a 20-year-old kid sprained his ankle and the court was one person short. Everyone's eyes fell on me. One person asked if I could play for a bit. Someone would fill in later. Not having touched a basketball for a long time, I was a bit rusty. After failing to catch 2 passes, I was looked down upon. Being proud, I couldn't just leave dejectedly. I took off my jacket and went back on the court. After catching the ball, I didn't rush to attack, looking for my rhythm. As the sweat fell, my rhythm got better and better. Threes, steals, assists. Except for rebounds, I had reached my best state. Just as I was feeling a bit self-satisfied, the style of the young guys on the courts suddenly changed. Each of them was like they'd been injected with chicken blood, their speed soaring, and there were even dunks. While I was confused, I found that the injured kid was staring straight off the court. I turned to look and found Shia Nuan had returned, sitting on a chair, holding her phone and making a call. "My husband doesn't need door-to-door service. He doesn't eat snacks?" Shia Nuan looked innocent and serious. A charming voice came over the phone in a cloying way. "Aya, sister, you're wrong there. Which man doesn't stray? Domestic flowers can't compare to the fragrance of wildflowers. Then he doesn't eat wildflowers? Dirty!" The other party was silent, seemingly hurt in their self-esteem by this sentence. I could hear the other party taking a deep breath to adjust. "Sister, don't be afraid. Big sister will attract him." "Auntie, you're very confident." "My husband only likes long legs. Coincidentally, my height is 1.72 meters. Auntie, what about you? Are you over 1.7 meters? The call was hung up. The game also ended. In the last bit, I was played very miserably. Then, under the gaze of everyone on the court, I walked to the rare beauty, took a bottle of water, and gulped it down. The famous flower has a master. I ignored those kids. Thoughts. Looked at the phone in Shia Nuan's hand and asked, "Looking for me?" Shia Nuan smiled and shook her head. Harassment call. Seeing you get played so miserably on the court, I couldn't bear to watch, so I took the call to pass the time. How about it? Feeling like you're getting old and your stamina is spent? Since there's a world-class beauty here, it's much more effective than a stimulant. Let's go. In a bit, those kids will treat me like a love rival. As soon as I finished speaking, the sound of dribbling came from behind. The kid who had dunked several times came behind me, saying he wanted a one-on-one. I didn't refuse, and the result was that I was utterly destroyed. The kid was overjoyed, thinking he would get the goddess's favor, only to find the goddess giggling at me. And when looking at him, her eyes were as cold as frost. Shia Nuan and I left. The people on the court also lost their interest in playing, sitting on the grounds, like frost-bitten eggplants. The kid who dunked sighed. When we aren't playing ball, wouldn't it be better to use the time to find a girlfriend? Everyone nodded in agreement. In a high-end apartment in the city, a woman was standing furiously in front of a mirror, gritting her teeth. 1.72 meters. You're proud. This sister is 1.8 meters. Damn, the ruler isn't accurate. How is it 1.66? I lay down early, physically and mentally exhausted, and fell asleep in an instant. Shia Nuan, sleeping in the master bedroom, was fiddling with my old phone, looking at the 2 numbers on it, and remembering the other party's reaction when answering, Shia Nuan felt something wasn't right. Does Shu Yi have a dog outside? Could it be that even before the divorce, he had hooked up with someone? Although she didn't say she liked me, how could there be a dog only 2 days after the divorce? Shia Nuan got angrier as she thought about it and dialed a number. The call was instantly answered. Shia Nuan, who had an unpleasant look, suddenly became a different person, squinting and smiling. Manager Lee, so sorry to disturb you so late. You haven't slept yet, have you? How could the company vice president's call be answered by saying they were sleeping? The other party repeatedly said they hadn't slept yet. Shia Nuan continued with a smile. I heard you applied for annual leave a few days ago and were refused. Is there something at home? I see. Tomorrow is Saturday, plus Sunday. You can take another 2 days off. Is that enough? Enough. Then go to the company tomorrow to hand over your tasks, and I'll sign the slip for you then. After chatting for a bit, Shia Nuan got to the point. Manager Lai, I heard from people in the company that your spouse works in communications. I have a number here. Could you help check it? No rush. Just tell me when you have time. Just see who the SIM card registrant is. After the call was hung up, Shia Nuan's expression returned to how it was just now. About half an hour later, Manager Lai called back. For the sake of the vacation, she had driven her husband to the company in the middle of the night to check the owner of the number. Unfortunately, the phone number had very high permissions and couldn't be checked. Manager Lai nervously told Vice President when the situation for vacation was still allowed. But counting the weekend, it was only 4 days. Jamuan sat on the bed looking at the phone number and muttered, "This poker hand number, it's a high-level user." Life over the weekend was very flat. Shia Nuan returned to her personality from when we first married, locking herself in her room busy with work. The committee wanted several companies to bid for a piece of land, an old community. People from the investment and risk departments calculated that it would be a loss no matter what. Shia Nuan was afraid this land would be forced upon the company by the committee. I was too lazy to bother with Shia Nuan, searching for the information I needed on the first floor. In the afternoon, I exercised a bit, although no one wanted to play ball with me anymore. Those kids felt like I was there to show off. These 2 days felt like years to me. I couldn't waste a single minute now. A 4 million debt in 1 year made it a bit hard to breathe, and at the same time, it made me feel stimulated. Monday morning, Shia Nuan rushed through breakfast and went to work. Before leaving, she asked if she needed to drive me for a bit. I shook my head. It wasn't on the way. My mother-in-law seemed to have truly forgotten this beautiful daughter, not a single call, and she hadn't seen Shia Nuan. For these 2 days, after taking calls, I was a bit confused. It's fine if my mother-in-law didn't call, but that guy abroad didn't call either? Did Shia Nuan really blacklist him? What is this woman up to? Little did she know that on the other side of the ocean, a man was lying on his bed, having lost his will to live. He didn't understand what Shia Nuan was doing either. How could she just blacklist him? He called his assistant, and the answer was that the young couple had gone on a honeymoon. Du Ziteng was almost choked to death by anger. HMPH, when I return, I'll deal with Shu Yi first. To think this mudleg actually got there first. Arriving at the company again, I had become smarter, crossing the plaza in front of Glory Group. I really could be hit to death by that fierce woman. These 3 years with Shia Nuan, I knew the gap between the rich and the poor, and at the same time, I had a bit of resistance toward beauties. A girl who looks smooth and glossy outside is very likely to be like Shia Nuan at home, because Shia Nuan said 90% of women living alone are almost like that. This sentence broke all the beauty in my mind. Walking through Glory's doors safely, this time the company's staff had come to work. Having changed back into a suit, I had become more handsome. Coming to the front desk, I took out my ID and received the employment contract. After signing, the young girl at the front desk took out a candy and put it on the contract. Squinting and smiling, "Welcome to Glory Group. This candy is a greeting gift from the company, symbolizing forgetting yesterday's bitterness. Work at Glory is sweet." The girl's face was round and cute. I smiled and was just about to reply. But in the next second, a cold shout came from behind.